Hi, everyone. Welcome to another wonderful episode of Deliberately Intentional with me, Remi Fagbon. We have another Dear Aunty Remi message, and I read Dear Aunty Remi, I'm 27, good looking guy, well brought up by my parents that passed away very early in my life. I still miss them to this day. I was raised by my uncles. They are lifelong bachelors. Let's just say I also picked up some of their habits. I've got a roster of girls that would make a football team jealous. I've got my main chick, my side chick, my we're just friends chick, and countless hookups. The thing is, I still remember what things were like before my parents died in their car accident many years ago. Our home was full of love, and they truly loved each other. My uncles are great, and I've lacked for nothing. But being bachelors, all I ever saw was a revolving door of women. But even though the memories aren't recent, I still remember my parents' relationship. I don't want to hurt anyone, but I know I can't keep this up. And I'm starting to feel like an ass, and my conscience is eating away at me. Auntie, how do I break free from this without breaking hearts? And here's a few details. I've got my main chick. We've been on and off for 2 years. I've got my side chick. We have amazing chemistry, but she's getting clingy. I've got my French chick. We've been friends for years, but she's developing feelings. Please help. Okay. There's a lot going on here. And whether we like it or not, in between the lines, I can actually tell the two reasons why he's actually veering in this direction. For a lot of people, whether we like it or not, the way we start our relationships, our dating, has a lot to do with what we've seen. And that's kind of where we go back to being intentional. I talk about this a lot when we talk about parenting. But for this young man right now, like it or not, he's lacking. Men sometimes don't necessarily show a lot of affection, right? And of course, because he's once had it with his mom, the only thing that he knows that's going to come next is through sex, right? He's still missing that attention, that love, that warmth, that there's just all that feminine energy that comes with being the opposite sex and having a mother in your life because he didn't have his mom in the later adulting years. He's missing in that. He's missing out on that. And because of that, and also with what he's seen with his uncles, he's in the girls. He's into the girls a lot. And of course, being cute, a lot of girls are going to come his way. How does he fix this? Well, it's easy. First, you got to let almost all of them go because it doesn't seem like you're really in tune with who you are. You've put so much of your identity, it sounds like, because you didn't really say too much about anything else. You say that you're good looking. Of course, if people have been telling you all your life you're good looking, you're good looking, you're good looking, you're good looking, you probably haven't had any opportunity to find out what else is there, what else am I great at, what else is there about me. Everyone's chasing after you, and everybody that comes your way is telling you you're so great and this is this. You've not really had any opportunity to dig deep. And so, yeah, it's easy to fall into bad situationships, hookups with these various girls. But I can see that you do still remember what it was like when your parents were alive. So we got to get back to that. But let's go back to you clearing out your stable or your roster, or whatever you want to call it. We got to clear that out first. So that's what I would say first. I'd say you need to cut everybody loose. Let go of your main chick. Let go of your side chick. Let go of the friends, at least. And even if they are going to stay friends, make sure you cut out the sex and then keep them at an arm's length and try and discover who you are. What makes you happy? I don't even know whether you fully process the death of your parents, because that's a whole nother story as well, because there's trauma there. Death is a form of trauma. And considering how great you say your parents were, that's a lot that you're missing out on. So you kind of need to process that. I always say that death is a part of life, and you have to think about how death plays into your bigger picture. I talk about death all the time, not in a negative way, but in a way that allows you to understand that it is something we human beings don't have any control over, but it is going to happen to every single one of us, one way or another. So we've got to also kind of sort of prepare for it. It would have been hard for you to prepare for it as a teenager or a young adult whenever it happened to you, but still, you do need to process and understand that, you know what, they left behind a legacy, which is you. And in the beauty of their marriage, they had you and they showed you what a beautiful family looks like. You kind of need to get back to that. If you had never seen it and never experienced it, you might have been able to stay a bachelor just like your uncles. But like it or not, because you've seen it, it eats away at you that you want to get something similar. And at 27, though you're still young and you're still figuring it out, this confusion that's eating away at you, you also need to get rid of it. So let's start with clearing your stables, finding things that you love to do, meditate, think about your passions, heal from your trauma. If you don't have hobbies, develop some that don't include sex and women. Get into your fitness. If you're already fit, then hey, tune into it more. Then when you finally figure out what you want to go, there should also be a spiritual side. You should also have goals that you're, things that you want out of life outside of the marriage, because marriage is one thing or relationships are one thing, but you also have to have goals about things you want to achieve for yourself. When you figured all of that out, then we can get back to dating. And then when you do date, try to do it one at a time. But even before you date, start thinking about what kind of life you want for yourself. Meaning, what does that look like? What kind of person do you want her to be? A go-getter just like you. Both of you are, climbing a corporate ladder, or you want her to be more chill and she's okay being sitting at home and being a stay-at-home mom raising the kids, because it's this reality looks different for each person. But when you have an idea of what you want, then you can go about looking for how to get it. Some people do it the reverse. I always say that you need to have an idea of what you want first. But since you're still a little 27, let's say it takes you a couple of months to figure this out, or even a year. So at 28, you still got a couple of years to kind of sort of date and figure out what it is you like, because a lot of people don't know. Everybody that jumps into bed and has sex with various people doesn't necessarily mean that they have a type. It just means that it's been coming at them a certain way. What is your type? And even with this type, what is that type? Type for in bed and type for the rest of your life. They might look like two completely different things. I say that often because in our case, I know that what my husband had dated in the past and who he ended up with are two completely different things. That may be the case for you. I don't know. But back to your question. I think that if you clear everything out and you literally have no noise around you, because the girls right now are factoring in as noise, you'll be okay. You also have to be aware of the fact that you're going to hurt some of them, because the person that's clingy is already thinking that she's got a shot. The girl that is your main chick, she probably thinks that she's also got a shot. So you're going to have to break a few hearts right now to clear things up. Apologize the best way you can. I'm sorry, you know what, keep that going. But don't let the guilt of how they're feeling be what now changes your mind and makes you do what you said you don't want to do, or to keep it going because you're just feeling uncomfortable. You've got to become more uncomfortable to get yourself out of this comfortable situation. I hope I've answered your question. Thank you again for sending in and asking this question, because I'm sure there are a lot of men out there and women as well, who actually do date multiple people and feel like, okay, this is okay. Some people think it's okay, but a lot of people are not thinking about the bigger picture, because at the end of the day, you can't foreseeably continue this multi-layered relationships with multiple people at the same time and think that it's going to end well or go well. It's hard to do. If you have any questions, you can send your question in to contact@d3libra8.com. Thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of Deliberately Intentional, and for sending in another Dear Aunty Remi message. Stay tuned. Bye.